is the ACC serving Clemson? Okay, that is our question to you. And it's our question to you because there are very clear positives and negatives towards Clemson remaining in that conference. A major positive is it is by far the easiest route to the college football playoff, right? It's the very reason we call the ACC the All Cupcakes Conference, because it's easy to make the college football playoff. But even when Clemson has fared well in the college football playoff and 2 national championships notwithstanding, you can recall and recite days, games where Clemson entered the playoff, got punched in the mouth, was down 16-0 to Ohio State in year 1, ended up losing to Ohio State the following year, and it was because they didn't see anybody like Ohio State during their regular season. Is the ACC adequately preparing Clemson for the national championship? And they've won 2 national championships. I get it, right? But that path is just going to get harder. I believe that if you were in the SEC, if Clemson was in the SEC, there would be fewer, obviously, conference championships. There would be fewer, obviously, playoff berths. At the same time, when you made the college football playoff, you would be that much more equipped to win the national championship, right? That is my honest feeling. Now, Florida State has been very, very, very outspoken in terms of wanting out of their current form in the ACC. They want out of that agreement. They want out of that agreement yesterday, right? The issue is that Clemson is less noisy, less boisterous, less rejecting. They're less discriminatory than Florida State is.
I thought kidnapping, holding someone against their will, was illegal in this country, Mark.
It would seem to be that was the case. So what is the issue here? Why is Clemson relatively silent on leaving the ACC, but Florida State is as upfront and honest and open as possible? Well, part of it could be that Clemson is a charter member of the ACC, right? They were part of the initial grouping of ACC teams. They feel a sense of loyalty to the ACC, whereas Florida State does not. You'll remember when I came out with my tweet 2 years ago that Clemson and Florida State had reached out to the SEC wasn't going to add them and would only add Notre Dame at that time. How accurate does that tweet look right now? Point number 1. Point number 2, do you remember what happened after that? Clemson came out with a rebuttal of that tweet right away. Florida State sat on it, didn't come out with anything until the following day. You know, these seeds of discontent for Florida State have been there for a while because they don't feel the same sense of loyalty to the ACC that Florida State does. Here is what David Heel has to say about Clemson. Clemson has been strong yet quiet. The Tigers are arguably the most fascinating characters in this drama. They understand the ACC is their clearest path to the college football playoff. Witness their 6 consecutive college football playoff appearances from 2005 to 2020 and 2 national championships during that span. But Clemson's fiercest rival is the SEC's South Carolina, and the prospect of the Gamecocks having a protected $30 million annual advantage in conference distribution does not sit well. The same dynamic is in play at Florida State, where the Seminoles stew about Florida having the same budgetary advantage. So why have the Tigers been silent while the Seminoles bark? Multiple reasons. Clemson is a charter member of the ACC, a history that dates back to 1953. FSU didn't join the conference until 1991 and has no institutional affection for the league. Moreover, the Tigers boast all the components an elite football program needs. Conversely, second-year Seminoles athletic director Michael Alford has said his predecessors did not invest enough in football, an indictment not of the ACC but of FSU's money management. That's what makes the Seminoles' loud demands for a greater share of conference revenue ring somewhat hollow. None of this means Clemson is content, Heel continues, but the Tigers can afford to be more subtle as they explore options beyond and perhaps before the ACC's grant of rights media deal expires in tandem with ESPN's deal through 2036. The grant conveys each school's television revenue to the conference, essentially binding membership. No school in any league has challenged the grant of rights in court. So, my friends, I ask you this very, very important question. Do you, my friends, is the ACC serving Clemson? Do you get the sense that the ACC has Clemson's best interest in heart? Are they being served well by being in that conference? Does the positive of having an easy route to the college football playoff supersede what happens when you get to the college football playoff? You have not been tested in any way, shape, or form up until that particular time.